high demand for these tonight.
Thank you. All right. We're going to call to order the Select Board meeting for 12/26/23, Durham Select Board. We got a quorum this evening, and let's see, Rich and Joe are excused this evening. While we stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all. All right, let's see, amendments to the agenda. Anybody have any amendments? I have one amendment. I'd like to take off the budget discussion for this evening until we have a full quorum later on in January. Okay, public comments. We have nobody from the public here. I'll hand this over to either the road commissioner or the fire chief. Gentlemen, you have your
How do you go at the first every time?
end of the year reports.
Taking my thunder.
So, as you know, we've been busy with the latest storm flooding events. That was a little much worse than was forecasted or expected, so we adapted to that as we went along. Still working on that. We worked with fire department, town manager, RSU, transportation, schools, trying to get kids home, get them, buses were getting stuck, so we had to negotiate with them how to get around things. And with different utility companies and DOT. We're still out assessing the damage and repairing, picking up debris, brush, and repairing shoulders and washouts. Continued work with loss mitigation department on the property deficiencies and repairs. Got the stairs fixed on the modular building out behind the fire station, and some other deficiencies, the floor at the entryway, and fixed the doors, the water's not coming in. I've had some people look at the Eureka and the timbers under the foundation. Still waiting for the full report to come back on that of I know we had that fixed a few years back, but there's a lot of water coming from the parking lot into the basement between the stones. And I know I looked at the wall on the 136 side, and I thought that the granite slabs were tipping out. And the guy that came to look at it said, you might want to look a little lower. And he said, it's not that they're tipping out, it's that the stone wall below is coming in.
Mhm.
And if you stood there and looked down, you could see it. So that's what it's doing. So he said, every year that's going to get worse. The frost is going to push that in more and more. So there's some work that needs to be done at the Eureka on the foundation. When I get all that together, I'll give it to Jerry to hopefully either put some money aside to figure out what we're going to do with that. We'll continue working on the 2024 budget numbers, and processes, and how that's going to go. And Jerry's got the Casella waste. We met with the RFP. He's got the results of that. That's all I got.
Great, Calvin. You guys did a great job responding to the storm, like you say, short notice on that one. I know the National Weather Service is begging otherwise, that they gave everybody plenty of warning, but I'm not sure everybody expected it to be that bad. So that was quite traumatic for a number of people. So thank you. Great job.
Well, especially 2 weeks earlier, we had a storm that was going to have high winds. We didn't get any, so
Right, yeah, no.
went just the opposite this time.
Yeah, certainly did. Any other questions for Calvin? No. Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Calvin.
I sent you the report, I'll read it. Some of the numbers have certainly been updated since. The fire department responded to 25 911 calls for service for the 2-day storm. 21 on that first day, on the 18th, 25 overall. We get another one certainly Christmas Eve, a couple on Christmas. Those numbers continue to grow, and they don't account for telephone calls for service or storm damage assessments, going out to 136, meeting with the DOT half a dozen times, meeting with Calvin. pretty much at the middle of the night out on Bowie and Stackpole. A complete department recall was ordered by 9:10 a.m. Monday morning. We spun up the EOC, because nowhere else had power, so the town manager, Calvin, and his crew, so we could all talk together, plan, have power, fed all of his guys. It's really the way it's supposed to be, and it worked seamlessly. That day, I pressed the town manager into action and helped us respond to a shed fire and a generator fire, so it was literally all hands on deck. I almost had to take the extinguisher away from him. Tuesday at noon, the state DOT, in conjunction with your Durham Emergency Management, shut down 136. That was from Davis to Stackpole. It started with one lane of traffic down by Stackpole. They brought in the temporary stoplights because it was flooding, but then it continued, so we made the decision. It's a DOT road, but emergency management, fire chief still has discretion of safety, so it was in conjunction with DOT. And Calvin, the town manager, was well aware of it. And that was later pushed back all the way to Auburn because of flooding there, DOT. The Eureka Center that day, Tuesday morning, was open as a charging and a warming center from 9 to 4 with fire department staff and no visitors. So between Monday and Tuesday, that was open. Tried to do that out social media, which was difficult. Our phones went down. Again, I'll remind the people, just leaving messages about damage doesn't help. 911 is the only way to go. Multiple times a day, we went out to Snow Road subdivision and 136. I also checked the Lisbon Dam several times. On Wednesday, the power was restored to the fire station and the town office approximately 10:37. That's when the Androscoggin River was at moderate flood stage. That was at 20 feet, .2, and major flooding is considered 22. So we were just 2 feet away from major. And that's straight from EMA, county EMA, and they were talking to the state hydrologist. So talk about some good information. CMP at that time recognized over 40,000 customers out of power just for the county. Not Durham, they wouldn't give me Durham numbers, but for the county. And the fire station, I had never seen this before, but it makes sense, was taking orders for drinking water and flooded basements. So drinking water, we put out a hose, to flush and whatnot. It was all wells if you don't have a generator. Also gave out bottles of water that we have in reserve. On Thursday, Route 136 was reopened after the flood water receded. That was in the morning. DOT inspected, cleaned out the road, and then we lost power again. Both, of course, here, I'm sure the town manager will brief you on it, and at the fire station for a few hours. That was CMP choice to restore other areas for safety. Again, we're not kept in the loop on any of that, which I'll explain. The fire station did experience some damage. Our flagpole, which Calvin's helping to fix, some interior flooding that first day, water was just sort of pouring through, and some loose roof panels. That's a metal roof, and they were iffy if they were flying off. Some notes, mostly for folks at home. Facebook is not an official way of communicating. The fire department does not monitor in real time social media. We do try to press out road closures and whatnot, but that's difficult. Our whole cable system went down. So we were doing remotely from people out of the area. The phone systems went down, so all the voicemails we were unable to get for days. So I think I had about 20 voicemails of damage and lines down and whatnot. I remind everyone to dial 911 for an emergency. Don't worry about if you think it's not, but we'll make that decision. We worked with other agencies, and it's not an exact science. So EMA, CMP, DOT, we were in constant communication with the road commissioner, town manager. We will have a major critique of all facets in preparation, response, and recovery. I've said this before, and to the people at home, CMP does not fill us in. I don't know when we're getting power back. I don't know why we lost power. I don't know that they're gonna cut power again to us. Our generator at the station, which is brand new, was flawless, but we did have to take a propane delivery in the middle of it. We're working on a larger tank. Very difficult storm, it really was. As everyone knows, but when you don't have power, you sort of lose communication. I tried everything with CMP. I went through all the proper channels, called EMA direct, called dispatch direct, told them that the fire station, the EOC, the warming center, the communications tower for the county were all without power and fell on deaf ears. That they do what they do, and I'm not gonna discuss it anymore. I'm very concerned with their actions, but there's nothing we can do.
Well, again, everybody did a great job. You guys responded flawlessly. Yeah, the communication between the three of you that day was great. And the teams, you know, it's all about the teams you guys have out there. Did a great job. Everything that I could hear and know about, it went really well. Seems like everything was, given the situation, under control. Very under control. So we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yep.
Any questions about that?
Questions? Heather?
Do you think that if the temperatures had been lower, you would have seen more people come? It says no visitors reported.
Yeah.
Do you think that if the temperature had been, I mean, we were kind of like, you know, high 30s, low 40s.
We were
except for
lucky
that
with
one
the
day.
temperatures. I've seen it before, it's difficult. Duramites are really hardy, and a lot of them have generators, a lot of them have support systems, a lot of them check on their neighbors, that type of stuff, which is appreciated in the way small communities are supposed to be, really. I think if it really got cold, maybe the second, third day, possibly. Again, we're a charging station, it was well predicted, the weather with loss of power this time. I don't know, maybe it's just lack of knowledge, knowing that it's
Well,
open.
that's part of the thing that,
Consistency.
yeah, I was wondering is that the people that I worry about, you know, like it was posted on social media that was a warming station. And I just wonder how any of those other people that may not even have social media would learn that was available to them.
Yeah, I know in the past, and where I've come from, you know, you have a senior center, if you will, you have volunteers with a list. That list is expired, I looked into it, you know, of neighbors or those that need a telephone call just to make sure. So again, it's family and neighbors. Where I get to on the, you know, leaving messages is, a lot of people just called because you could get through, but we couldn't get that, and of course they don't know. Is, oh, can you check on so-and-so at this address, you know, have you been in contact with that person? So that makes it difficult, that we don't know. We don't have a list, we don't have the staff currently to really sit down and make phone calls.
So one thing that I would just like to you know,
Sure.
suggest was that when Roberta came here, and we did that proclamation, for resiliency, building resiliency, that was definitely something that she and that group of people were interested in doing. And when you said the thing about, people needing to get drinking water and then water to be able to flush and whatnot, I think that that's something that group of people is really interested in, being able to support the community that way, but then also take that burden off of you.
Sure.
So maybe just, you know, put that on your radar, that she may be able to coordinate and kind of get some of that off your plate somehow.
We can try that. I hope the town manager discusses, you know, working with Roberta really on some other projects. And I put in for a, you know, a generator for here. It just makes it difficult when we're, it helped that we're all out of one building,
Yes,
but, you know, no power here. Just added another layer
right.
for.
That was one of the things that I was wondering about, was because we do have a generator here, it was just broken. We can talk about that when we get to
Well,
that.
we can, I mean, we're right on subject,
Okay,
so we,
okay.
yeah, we do, and it's dead. We fired it up a couple different, and it just doesn't stay running. I don't know exactly what's all wrong with it. I think it overheats. I think there's some wires in there that are melted, but when we're down, we're dead in the water. I mean, there's just no, like I said, no cable, no internet, no phones, no nothing. I mean, I didn't realize I had all the phone messages that I had until I got here this morning. People calling and no answer, you know, and they really didn't understand why.
Right.
So that's kind of, you know, so, but like I said, she's put in for a grant. Don't know that we'll get it. Don't know how long it will be. That's just the nature of the grant business. So if we don't
A
lose,
grant for a generator for this building?
yes,
FEMA, yep,
Okay.
yeah.
through the brick program.
We even had someone come to look at it, and he fired it up 4 or 5 times, and it runs for 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and it just dies. So, we tried, but,
Is there a generator at Public Works now?
yes.
Oh, there is, but it was just better for them to be there, or your generator was also not working? Oh,
We found activating an EOC, having everyone in one room, it would have been easier actually here as an EOC, more communications, quieter, you know, you're not dealing with the fire station with, 20 people coming in and out. Road closures, there has to be one point of contact so that we don't telephone tag type of stuff.
Right.
And that's what we did, and of course, the fire station was perfect. But if we open a warming center or other stuff,
right,
it just takes space.
okay,
We have that one space.
okay.
We appreciate it, and it's being built out too. I'm in contact with FEMA on the local side about building out more computers, a weather station,
Yep.
Real-time data, that type of stuff. I know it was asked recently, about, you did 25 calls, your call volume's up. Last year, we had twin nor'easters in December, and that was 25 calls. There'll always be weather-related calls, whether it's power, flooding.
Right.
This was, I'm told, like the second worst flooding, in history. And that road has been built up, I'm told, like, is it
Yeah.
like 12, 14 feet, depends on who you talk to.
Yeah, it got pushed back and
Snow
built
Road
up.
was fine. I know we got trucks in there. I know there was a couple of gentlemen that I took pictures of them, but he went in and out, and we had plans. So they're hardy on Snow Road. They understand where they've bought and where they're living. Our boat was ready to go, and I talked to several citizens over there. So never really a concern. It was mostly traveling through 136 when you shut down the major
Right,
thoroughfare in
Yeah.
town.
You gotta go around.
And Cedar Pond, that whole area, they're used to it, but, I was pretty worried about the power and multi-day type of stuff.
Mm.
So people on oxygen need power, we run out of generators real quick for those people. And then just staffing, because we staffed around the clock, so.
All right,
I
thank you.
appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Chief.
Chief.
Yep.
Keep up the good work. Okay, move on here. No old business, new business.
Yep.
Sure, you have the,
Yeah, so just the solid waste, the bids come in, we got one, Casella. I just basically get a summary for you, rate here on the
Yep.
spreadsheet, just sharing the information with you now. I think the only option is Casella if you still want to continue with trash collection.
trick question.
Right. Basically, they're going to go up 5% every year, or whatever the CPI is for trash collection. So that it's a 5-year contract. Year 2 or 3, they're going to be adding the cans that they'll manage. How that will work is there'll be a barcode on each can that will be tied to an address, so they know that it belongs to that person and they will manage it. When that program kicks into place, there'll be an additional 80,000 added to the.
That yearly, or is that,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
a yearly
Yeah.
charge?
going forward from then on, the 80,000?
Well, no, but to replace the cans won't be 80,000, but to get it all started up,
So
it'll be
initially, but
80,000.
not annually?
Right,
Okay.
right.
And that, but.
But there'll be the
cost of
cost
that.
of the cans, whoever loses it will have that, and we won't really know. There's a lot in here we can't really figure, like the average commodity revenue. There's really no way to put a quote on that. So all I did up here was just add the curbside collection and the municipal solid waste disposal per ton, and those figures come from 22's tonnage. I don't have all the 23's yet, but it's pretty close. They all run. And it's hard to nail down an exact figure. I think we budgeted like $350, I think. And I think we're gonna be okay with that again. Like I said, it's hard to know. We get into some programs where, we can sort of teach people what they can throw away and what they don't. And I mean, in the next 5 years, we talk about what do you call it? where people put their food waste.
Compost.
Compost, yeah, we do a compost thing,
Collection, yeah.
you know, we talk about that, but, that'll help keep costs down as far
Yeah.
as tonnage, cause that
Tonnage.
stuff's heavy,
Yeah.
right? So, but anyway, they're the only bid, those are the breakdowns. I recommend you, if you want trash collection, you pretty much have to go with Casella. So, I will look at it a little bit closer, I'll find out what 23's actuals were. But I'm probably gonna put in the budget somewhere between 350 and 370
For this contract.
for that,
yeah.
for that,
Okay.
yeah. So that's it, that's the only bid we got.
That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I share that
questions
with
for
you.
Jerry?
My only question would be where I mean, I knew that we were gonna end up in a situation where we couldn't figure out a long-term plan before we had to enter into this, and I am completely, like, I get it. I'm just wondering if the solid waste committee has made any headway on any kind of long-term plan, or if they were kind of waiting to see how this.
Yeah, I think they're still sort of waiting on, like, what exactly are they poised to do? You know, is it just looking at potential place for a transfer station and where that would be in the cost? I think it would be good if I brought in Curtis and we could talk to him to see what direction you want him to bring that committee in.
Okay,
So,
I'd be in favor of that, I think that's a good idea.
you know, because I don't think they know what report and there is a set of bylaws, but there's no direction in the bylaws, just that it's set up with X members and this many alternates and just that sort of stuff, but nothing really giving them what they're sort of looking at, like a compost. Do we want to have them look at that? Is there a place for one? Do we, you know, I know there are some public works out there that have compost facility at their place. Is that something Durham would like to do? It's some of those things they could look at. But we could talk about that and bring them in so they can meet and actually have
Especially now that we have, like, we're gonna go towards, well, I mean, we have to have it approved first, but now we're gonna, like, enter into a 5-year situation.
Yeah.
That really gives a good amount of time to come up
Yeah.
with a good long-term plan.
Right, and I will say that the rep was taken aback a little bit by the fact that we gotta get approval every year to fulfill a 5-year contract, you know, when they, from their eyes, we signed that contract, they're on for 5 years.
Right, what happens? That's a good point.
You know, I mean, so I don't know if that just becomes a line in our operation and that is what it is. I don't know how that would work, but it should be discussed.
Yeah, I don't remember how we do that year to year, because we've had multi-year contracts before, so.
Right, but we go to town meeting every year asking for that
For the same-
solid waste, but yet we are in a contract with them to do it
I-
anyway.
I believe it's a, although we ask, it's a, you have to go do it line item. It's
Right.
not really an option, even though you have to put it on the warrant.
There is a provision, I think, in the warrant where we say that if it doesn't pass, we can at least spend up to the previous year's approval. So
Yeah.
that would cover at least up to the previous year's amount, and then it would just be the 5% that would have to.
Yeah, I don't
don't
remember
know.
how that's worded, I'd have to look it up,
Yeah,
but we can
But
talk
anyway.
about that. All right,
that's it for solid waste,
Okay.
at least for that.
all right, anything else? All right, we're gonna move right to, let's see, Historic District Commission, we have 2
Yeah,
applicants,
so,
go ahead.
so Lois wanted me to bring these to the board
Mhm.
for approval. So David would be the full voting member and Sandra would be the alternate. They've met, they're endorsing these 2 candidates to be on that committee, so there you go.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint, David McClellan and Sandra Hilton to the Historic District Commission.
As a full alternate member, I would second that.
All right, Josh second, have the motions that Josh seconds it, any discussion? If we have any discussion, we'll have to go in executive session. Nope.
Just make sure we're clear for that, that is for David to be the full member and Sandra
Yep.
to be the alternate.
Yep.
Okay. All in favor? Humana, all right. No opposed, motion carries. Thank you, David and Sandra, for joining the Historic District Commission. We appreciate your help. All right,
Does that leave any open seats there now? or are
I'll
they-
have to ask Jessica, I don't have those.
Probably
memorized.
not, because they would have made Sandra a full voting member if they still
Right.
had openings.
managers report, Jerry?
Yes, I got a few things here
Yeah.
for you. So just to go, the Union Church, so I've been in touch with the lawyer, waiting for a memo from him. So the gist is, and we'll talk about the Union Church at a more appropriate time when we have time. We're getting into budget season soon, and there's still some information to find out, but the quick information is to transfer the church, if that's what you decide to do. That can be just a quick claim deed over to the historical societies. Have to go. The money, that has to be approved at town meeting. You can't just, we'll have to put that on. So, and you can ask the people at town to transfer the building too, if that's what you want to do, because you got a warrant that gives you that authority. You don't have to. That's just your discretion on what you can do. And there's some other questions that need to be answered too. So when we get some of those answers, or I get some of those answers, I think the lawyer might be on vacation this week. Once I compile a bunch more information, we'll have it as an agenda item for a full
Okay.
discussion before because we'll have to draft up some warrant language, and that's gonna be coming up here in the next month or so it'll happen soon, we're just not ready right now.
All
So
right.
that's the update on that, so. You all got the email that I sent you regarding Mark, which was sort of unfortunate news. So he is leaving the firm, and so we need to think about doing some other things. So what I'm gonna do is I'll outsource payroll. So I'm working on that. That is gonna happen soon. I mean, I have to get that going. That's really important. I've met with someone to talk about it previously to now, but then I talked to someone today, and I'm gonna talk to someone else. But that trigger is gonna get pulled probably this week, just to get it going. That onboarding, to do that takes a month to get it all going, and that'll be good. That'll at least get that. The AP, we're gonna have to bring that back in-house. This all kind of hit me last week during the power outage and everything, so I haven't had a ton to think about it, and quite frankly, I didn't want to think about it over the Christmas holiday. But it appears we'll be bringing it back in, at least to get started on it. So Mark's not going anywhere. He's going to be here on the 9th for the budget presentation, so he's not really leaving until, March, so we still have him. And not all is lost. It is a bummer. It's a gut punch to me. There's no doubt, because he's just so good at what he does. But we have a new chart of accounts. We have a clean slate, so it's all good. It's just unfortunate that whatever happened to him, and we're just gonna pick up the pieces and exactly. So, but we're in good shape. So there's no worries there. It's just gonna take me a little time to get things lined up. So.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Mark's firm was the only firm that does
Yeah,
this.
they're pretty specialized because they get into Trio. They know the whole GASB 34 or the whole GASB government accounting, and they're not just your bookkeeper, regular accounts. They know the whole ins and outs of municipal and school budgeting, municipal budgeting, county budgeting. It's all different. It's government accounting, so there's different standards and there's different ways of doing things, and they knew it pretty well. So we'll see. I'm still talking, obviously with Mark, and, maybe there'll be some consulting. Who knows? I don't know. Like I said, it's all new, but no worries. We'll get going, and first thing is payroll. That's the first thing that we got to get straightened out. So there's that. those are the two major things that have happened. I guess the only thing that I really want to mention here the day after Christmas is how staff has just been unbelievable. Stepping up. I mean, we had an employee go down with a broken leg. The other employee stepped right up, and especially Cindy. I mean, she basically had to, pick up a lot while Jessica was out. She did a fabulous job in helping me put the budget together. But they've all done good. Working with Kimberly, we have a really good staff, a really good culture, and I'm really proud to be on their team. They're just awesome. So I just knew we got a new year coming, and I'm looking forward to working with them. They're just a great group. So,
Right?
yeah.
I'd just like to add a little anecdote to that. I have a friend that had a very weird car situation where she bought a car in Massachusetts and there's some rules or whatever, the guy had to drive it up here. You guys lost power when they were coming over here to try to register it, and she immediately, when the power came back on, there was like no hesitation, you guys were right back up and running again. The guy was sitting in her kitchen, like while they were waiting, and I know how appreciative she was that as soon as the power came back on, everything just like was up and running and there was no hesitation. And he was able to make the 1 o'clock train to be able to get back
Right.
down there to go to Boston. And so I think that just speaks to, the fact that you guys really were here for the community and, working together to make sure that all these things were getting done. And I know that she was really appreciative of that.
Yeah.
So I think that speaks to the teamwork here too.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, it's a great team, like I said. I couldn't be any more proud to be on their team. They're awesome, so.
Great.
That's really about it. Those were the two big things that I wanted to catch you up on. Next meeting though will be budget presentation. There'll be a lot to cover. So there may not be much else on the agenda except for that. If you have something that's light, we can take care of right away. That'd be up to Joe, but it's really gonna be budget oriented the whole meeting because a lot's changed in the budget for the better.
That's our focus right now.
Right.
Through that
Absolutely.
iteration. All right,
So yeah, that pretty much concludes my report.
great. Thank you, Jerry. All right, any board members have any reports this evening? Anything to report?
I
No?
think the only thing that I would like to say is that I just want the public to know that we, as a board, are working on our own bylaws, and we've seen some drafts, and we're all, doing our edits to those drafts, and that we will have a meeting where that's discussed and voted on. But I just, I don't want people to see that on the agenda, the first meeting, and be like, where did all of this come from? How are they where they are already? So I just wanted to put that out into the universe that this board is working on a draft of bylaws to be discussed at a future meeting.
Okay, anything else? All right, consent agenda.
Excuse me.
I have a motion, make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
So moved.
Josh seconds. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay. Let's see, upcoming meetings, we have select board on 1/9, and let's see, and 1/23, and then planning board is on 1/3 of 24. I believe we're in 2024 here. Okay. Any need to go into executive session, Jerry? Anybody else? No? Good. All right. I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Sure.
Motion to adjourn,
Yes, so moved.
and
Second.
Heather seconds. All in favor? All right, motion
Good.
carries.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. Happy New Year. We'll see you all next year.
Commission of the appointments to sign too.
Oh, yeah.
That go, didn't we get, well, I don't, make sure I don't have it here.
They're not, there's no.